Right.
Detective Delano is with us. It's the Shred and Reagan Show here on 103.3 The Edge. Did you step on some toes along the way that has maybe pissed some people off that they are kind of trying to stick it to you somehow?
Absolutely. But it wasn't intentional. I was just, listen, if you get offended when I'm trying to do the right thing, that's your problem, not mine. I didn't attempt to offend anybody. All I attempted to do was do the right thing for the case and the people involved in the case. I mean, there's there was no malice whatsoever on my part. I was just trying to bring the truth to light, and for some reason, the powers that be did not want the truth be brought to light. I don't know why.
I wanted to go through Dateline NBC from Sunday night. You watched it, right? I wanted to hit a couple of quick things with you. In that there was I believe they had him on a lie detector test. Dennis Donahue. They had him on a lie detector test. He passed it, and then obviously they don't allow those in court. But here's the suggestion from Dateline NBC.
Donahue was cleared of any involvement in Crystal Lynn's murder after that polygraph test. In fact, the assistant district attorney at the time, Frank Clark, allowed Donahue to testify to the grand jury that indicted the main suspect. Who was the evil person accused of viciously strangling?
We know that, and of course the suggestion was that it was Frank who actually, gave immunity to Dennis Donahue. Is this so close to Frank that he's had an influence on keeping you suspended?
Oh, I believe wholeheartedly, yes. I believe that's where it all started. There's no question in my mind about it, but he'll deny that to the end of the earth.
Right.
Let me clarify something for you. I don't know if you had the time, but what Dennis Donahue was given at the time is not what we would consider a lie detector test. It was considered like they call it a phishing test. It was only a 4-question test. Okay. They do an extensive interview before and after the test, and based on those 4 questions, the polygraph examiner makes a determination on whether they recommend having a full test done. Now, a full test is quite more comprehensive, the actual polygraph test.
So he was given the pre-test.
Yes.
And he evidently passed through that, and they didn't feel he needed more questioning.
Well, he didn't. You know what happened? The polygraph examiner, I don't think... was at the time he was fairly new, and
Great.
he gave me they told me now that had they do it over again, they would have came to a different conclusion because the way things have changed and the technology and stuff, they just weren't they weren't sure at the time.
Knowing the limitations and knowing the limitations and knowing that they weren't sure, why did he get immunity?
Well, I don't know. That was now. Everybody says Frank Park did not have a hand in that, but that's not true. Also, because Frank Park was the first assistant district attorney at the time, and he would have made that type of decision as the first assistant does now.
Dennis Delano is on. Detective Dennis Delano. He's been suspended since essentially, the television station started at Channel 2 was given some tapes of Donahue and the crime scene and that sort of thing. Since that time, he's been sitting on the side of the road, and our question was why? Why? Even if you could somehow say, well, he broke protocol, yes. But does he deserve to be sitting on the side of the road this long? The one more thing I wanted to bring up, Detective Delano, is what really ticked you off? What ultimately made you break some sort of protocol in the Buffalo Police Department, which was Frank Clark sort of insinuating that this 13-year-old girl, and remember, this is after they said she didn't die of a strangulation, it was a cocaine overdose. Why was there DNA, that sort of thing? And Frank Clark came out and said this.
Let's take a hypothetical. If somebody has sexual relations with somebody else and that somebody else turns up dead 2 days later, is the fact that they had sexual relations evidence of the homicide?
Well, those, as far as Detective Delano was concerned, were fighting words.
Essentially, Frank was saying she may have wanted to have sex with this guy.
Well, listen, let me clarify a couple of things here. First of all, I did not break any department protocols or rules or regulations that were said. I did. That they stretched the regulations to cover what I did.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I would never do that. I mean, I'm a seasoned investigator. I wouldn't, it was absurd, and there was a a reason for it, I believe. But anyways, when in this state, New York, right, when an adult has sex with a 13-year-old girl, it is called rape. Why didn't the district attorney at the time use the word rape? Why is he somehow fluffing over that point? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, his insinuation that little girl, there was nothing, absolutely nothing in that file that indicated that little girl was anything other than a normal 13-year-old A honor student.
The only thing we can conclude here is that this is a personal situation with Frank. I don't know, maybe you touched
maybe all these cases that you've brought back, make them look bad.
Make him look really bad, and you think he's had an influence in keeping you on the side of the road. If that's the case, enough's enough already. I mean, well, I understand that, human emotions are going to get involved in any situation like this, but at some point, somebody's got to be an adult here and go, all right, this guy's he's a talented detective. Let him back on the force already.
Well, absolutely, but how could I make a case and put it together, right? We put our heart and souls into those cases. We do a lot of work on it. It's not like we're just coming at them new for Frank to totally disregard our investigation.
Yeah.
But not only that, we do all that work on them cases, and then if I put one together, you're going to tell me, my superiors can tell me, hey, drop that case, you're getting too close to something, or you're going to have the district attorney say, oh, no, we're going to change the cause of death. Yeah. I can't do that. I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't even know if I want to go through all that again. Why would I?
Yeah, that's Clint Eastwood stuff is what we were going through the day is what happening.
There's something wrong with the system, and it's got to be fixed. And it's absurd that they think the general public will actually buy this junk,
Detective Delano, we don't know what to say. We wanted to find out whether or not there was any movement in your case at the moment. We will be in touch. We want to have you back on at some point. We have a little more time, and just keep in touch with us, though. We'd like to know if there's any movement, if there's a hearing coming up, if there's any way that your side could be heard finally. That'd be nice to know.
All right, great. Thanks a lot. I appreciate the call.
No problem.
Right, thanks, Dennis.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Dennis Delano.